Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. So we're continuing on with our discussion of Vastu Sangraha. We're up to the section of, we're talking about Vastu Shanti Prayoga. And the Vastu Shanti Prayoga, we have, up until now, we have performed some Purvangam or preliminary rituals. Next, we've installed also in kumbhas, we've installed in pots, we've installed some different devatas and dikpals, directional deities. And now we're coming to this section again of Vastu, Purusha, Puja. Pujanam. Okay, so here we are. This is the part we're up to from last time. So Vastu Purusha Pujanam. You can just say Puja, Pujanam, same thing. Okay. So there's a meditation, mantra, Vasto Martyo Mahakaya Krishnango Raktalochanaha Ekavaktro Dvibahuscha Bhabarancha Bhabarangancha Dudharaha Avahayam Yaham Vastum Vajradeho Mahabalam Vishvambaram Nagarupam Bhubhararpita Mastakam Agacha Bhagavan Vasto Sarvadevair Adishtita Bhagavan Kuru Kalyanam Grihesmin Sanido Grihesmin Sanido Bava. And of course here, where it says Grihesmin, if it's in a temple, you will say Prasadesmin. Or if it's another type of building, whatever the type of building is, the Sanskrit word for that building, Asmin, right? Asmin means this. And the name of the building should be in the locative case here, location, inside the building, right? Sanidho Bhava. Right, which means please be present here. Om, Shram, Shrim, Shroom, Shrime, Shraum, Shraha, Hrim, Vastu Pataye, Iha Agacha, Iha Tista, Om Hrim, Vastu Pataye Namaha. Okay, so we call the Vastu Purusha. This is the Avahana mantra. And the next mantra is the Mula mantra, by which we're going to perform the puja of the Vastu Purusha. Here we have now the Vastu Mandala Devata Avahanam, the invoking of the different devatas or the different demigods on the Vastu Mandala. We should have a Vastu Mandala. We can either make it with colored rice, or we can have a Vastu Yantra type thing made of copper. So here are the deities to be invoked. Om Amsumaline Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. When we say Dhyayami Avahiyami, Dhyayami means we meditate upon. Avahiyami means we invoke. We invoke them. We call them to come. Right? We can say Dhyayami Avahiyami, or we can say Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Pujayami, if we want to establish them and also worship them. Okay. Here it's not mentioned like that, but we can. It's possible to do it like that. Okay, so again, Om Amsumaline Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Jashadvajaya Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Kumaraya Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Vinayakaya Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Ashvibhyam Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Chandraya Namaha Avahiyami Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Durgaye Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Saptamatribhyo Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Stanave Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Vishnave Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Om Brahmane Namaha Dhyayami Avahiyami. Swamina Sarva Jagannatha Yavat Puja Vasanakam Tavat Yuyam Pritibhavena Kumbe / Mandale Sanidim Kuruta. So Kumbe would be if we're invoking these deities into a pot, and Mandale would be if we invoke them onto the mandala. Right. So you can, if you have my my document on doing prana pratishta, you need to do the prana pratishta at this point. Enliven these devatas so that they will accept and reciprocate our worship. So, so in fact, this is a very simplified version here, and the full prana pratishta should be gone through for these devatas. Then we can use a group mula mantra like Sarvabhyo Devatabhyo Namaha or Sarvabhyo Vastu Devatabhyo Namaha, and offer upacharas to them, offer different services of puja to them. Then we go through the mudras and the mantras for invoking them, their presence. Avahita bhavata, avahita bhavata, stapita bhavata, sanidha bhavata, sanirudha bhavata, sanihita bhavata, avaguntita bhavata, prasidata, and sometimes people say prasida, 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 or prasidata, prasidata, prasidata. Okay, which means please come. Okay, so the reason is there's slight difference in the pronunciation or in the grammar of these mantras, because we're doing it in plural. When you're calling one deity or two deities or many deities, you have to change the Sanskrit grammar from singular, dual, or plural. You do the different endings to these words. So bhavata is plural. So therefore, one should also look at my procedure for doing the prana pratishta. In there, I've given all the different endings and all the different ways of chanting these. Also, similarly, this sloka here, which is given, that can also be adjusted with Sanskrit grammar. Okay, so you have to know, if you're going to do the prana pratishta properly, you have to properly identify how many deities and of what gender are being installed. So there will be different endings if there's a male or female deity, a different ending if there's two female deities or many female deities, or if there's a group of deities, mixed male and female, then the male endings will be given for two or more deities. Okay, so there's a difference there. Then we offer the upacharas, simply. So, avahitanam sarvasam devatanam asanam samarpayami. That's a little bit difficult there. So he's saying here, avahitanam, those that were called, all of those devatas that were called, I offer a seat. Argham samarpayami, etc., up to pushpa malikam samarpayami, which is offering a flower garland. And then pushpa pujayami, after offering the garland, we're going to offer loose flowers or flower petals with the different names of the Vastu Purusha or the Vastu Purusha devatas, the devatas that are sitting on the Vastu Purusha to keep him down. So Vastu Lagu Namavali. So there may be a longer one, but we have a very short list of names of those deities which are being worshipped. Now, I would suggest, instead of Avahitanam Sarvasham Devatanam, simply we use a catch-all mula mantra like Om Sarvabhyo Devatabhyo Namo Namaha, or Sarvabhyo Devatabhyo Namaha as a mula mantra. That means all these. Or we can also say Sarvabhyo Vastu Devatabhyo Namaha, meaning all the deities that have to do with Vastu, we are offering these services to. Anyway, going with the Namavali, the Vastu Namavali here. Om Asi Charmadharaya Namaha. Om Kapilasyaya Namaha. Om Bhishanaya Namaha. Om Raktalochanaya Namaha. Om Kota Rakshaya Namaha. Om Lambakarnaya Namaha. Om Dirgajangaya Namaha. Om Mahodaraya Namaha. Om Ashvatundaya Namaha. Om Kaka Kantaya Namaha. Om Vajrabhave Namaha. Om Vratanta Kaya Namaha. Om Smita Bhaktraya Namaha, Om Krishna Dehaya Namaha, Om Sveta Vastraya Namaha, Om Suvestine Namaha, Om Raktakeshaya Namaha, Om Mahapanaye Namaha, Om Tikshadamstraya Namaha. And then continuing on, Om Vastu Purushaya Namaha, Om Mahakaya Namaha, Om Mahakaya Namaha, Om Krishnangaya Namaha, Om Arunakshaya Namaha, Om Vastraika Dharanaya Namaha, Om Dvibhave Namaha, Om Vajradehaya Namaha, Om Sura Surakaya Karaya Namaha, Om Ekavaktraya Namaha, Om Bhabharangaya Namaha, Om Dudharaya Namaha, Om Vibramsa Shishiroruhaya Namaha, Om Aishanya Stita Maskaraya Namaha, Om Krudhaya Namaha, Om Kurpari Krita Janudvayaya Namaha, Om Kritanjali Hutaya Namaha, Om Kalyanaya Namaha, Om Adovaktraya Namaha, Om Shiva Netrodbhavaya Namaha, Om Gora Rupaya Namaha, Om Vastu Shastradipataye Namaha, Om Chutu Shasti Mandaladhyakshaya Namaha, Om Dharani Sutaya Namaha, Om Bali Priyaya Namaha, Om Raktakeshaya Namaha, Om Vastu Mandala Madhya Gaya Namaha, Om Vastu Devaya Namaha, Om Trilokya Rakshakaya Namaha, Om Tratre Namaha, Om Varadhaya Namaha, Om Vanchitartha Pradaya Namaha, Om Bhaktanam Abhayankaraya Namaha, Om Bhakta Vatsalaya Namaha, Om Subhaya Namaha, Om Omarchana Pritaya Namaha, Om Prabhave Namaha, Om Udumbara Samit Priyaya Namaha, Om Marichyana Priya Manasaya Namaha, Om Dikpala Paribhusitaya Namaha, Om Griha Nirmana Sahayakaya Namaha, Om Grihadosha Nivartakaya Namaha, Om Kulisha Yuda Bhushanaya Namaha, Om Krishna Vastradharaya Namaha, Om Ayobhala Yashodhaya Namaha, Om Masa Bhali Priyaya Namaha, Om Dirganetraya Namaha, Om Nidra Priyaya Namaha, Om Daridra Haranaya Namaha, Haranaya Namaha, Om Shuka Sayanandaya Namaha, Om Saubhagyaya Namaha, Om Vastospataye Namaha, Om Sarvagama Sutaya Namaha, Om Sarvamangalaya Namaha, Om Vastu Purushaya Namaha. Okay, so that is all that Namavalis there. The Uttara Puja, so after that we offer Drupam, Deepam, Naivedyam, Tambulam, Ananda Kapura Nirajanam. So that we know what that is. It's incense, lamp, food, Tambula, meaning pan, betel leaves with betel nuts. Ananda Kapura Nirajanam simply means Kapura Nirajanam. We're offering a camphor lamp at the end with the mantra, with the Gayatri mantra of Vastu Purusha is Om Vastu Purushaya Vidmahe, Bhumi Putraya Dhimahi, Tanno Vastu Prachodayate. So Om Vastu Purushaya Vidmahe, Bhumi Putraya Dhimahi, Tanno Vastu Prachodayate. Kapura Nirajanam, Kapura Niraja Antaram Punachmaniyam Samarpayami. So after the camphor lamp, then we should offer Achman again. And then a pratana, a prayer. Vastu Martyo Mahakaya Krishnango Raktalochanaha Ekavaktro Dvi Bahuscha Bhabarangancha Dhurdharaha. And we saw that before in the beginning of the puja. Pujitosi Mayad Vasto Homadhir Archane Subhaihi Apasida Pahi Vishvesa Dehi Me Brihajam Sukam Vasudeva Namastubhyam Bhusaya Bhirata Prabho Madgriham Dhana Dhanya Dhahi Samridham Kuru Sarvada Devesha Vastu Purusha Sarva Vigna Vinashaka Santim Kuru Sukam Dehi Sarva Kaman Prayachame. So that is the end of the Vastu Shanti Prayogaha. So now that we finished the Vastu Shanti Prayoga, the next item in the Vastu Sangraha is the Vastu Homa, and it's a Vaidika Homa, right? It's being called a Vaidika Homa here by Ramaramanujacharya, who's put it together. And he suggests that we do the Purvangam. The first Purvangam that you do is you do the Ganapati Puja, or what we normally say, Vigneshwara Puja, which can be substituted by Vishvaksena Puja. Vishvaksena Puja is also possible. And then the Punyavachanam. And after that, we do the Agni Mukam. Agni Mukam means to establish the fire, the sacrificial fire. And specifically here, he's invoking a fire by the name Mrida Nama. Mrida. So Mrida means compassion, mercy, or graciousness. It's also a name of Agni, also a name of Shiva. Okay, with a long A, it could be a name of Parvati. But anyway, so that Mrida means graciousness or compassion. Okay, so Mrida Nama. So we say Om Bhurbhavas Suvaham Mrida Nama Agnim Avahayami. Right? We invoke that Agni. Avahayami Stapayami Pujayami. Right? We invoke that. Right? Then we have the establishment of the fire and perform all the rites in the Agni Mukam, and we have to look at Homa Sangraha for this, right? Up to the Ajabhaga. Ajabhaga is the offering of ghee into the fire in a particular way for Prajapati and for Indra and Prajapati. Okay, so with each of the following mantras, right, offer 4 oblations of ghee. So we're going to chant these different mantras of the Vastu Suktam 4 times and offer each time ghee into the fire. So Vaso Ospate Pati Janihyasam Asvesho Anamivo Bhavanaha Yatve Mahe Pati Tanno Jushashva Sam No Edi Dvipade Sam Chatuspade Swaha. We offer ghee into the fire. Now we can also add the Prativachanam. We can add here when we offer to that, we can say Vastu Purushai Namama, that we're offering to the Vastu Purusha, and the oblation is for the Vastu Purusha and not for us. So either Vastu Purushai Namaha, Vastu Purushai Namama, or Vastu Natai Namama, or Vastu Devatabhyo, Vastu Devatabhyas Namama. Right? Okay. So then Om Vaso Ospate Sagma Ya Sagum Sadate Sakshi Mahi Vanvaya Gatumatya Avaha Ksheme Uta Yoge Varam No Tuyam Pata Pata Swastivis Sada Nas Swaha. Okay, so that's the second mantra. Om Vaso Ospate Patarano no Na Edi Gopir Ashvedhir Indo Aja Rasas Te Sakye Syama Piteva Putran Pati No Jushasva Swaha. Om Ami Vaha Vaso Ospata Vishpa Rupanya Dishan Shaka Susheva Edi Naswaha. Om Abhi Vo Ache Poshyata Vato Nin Vastospatim Vasta Ram Raranaha Danya Sajosha Dishana Namobhir Vachaspatir Oshadi Vaya Eshe Swaha Om Vaso Ospate Dhruva Stunam Satram Somya Naam Drapso Beta Puram Sasvatinam Indro Muni Nam Saka Swaha. Okay, so that is the Vastu Suktam. I believe that there are a couple of mantras here which Ramaramanujaracharya has added also about the Vastu, which are not usually chanted in the Vastu Suktam, but there's maybe 3 or 4 of these which are definitely part of Vastu Suktam, and so you should learn the Vastu Suktam. Don't learn it from the way I've just chanted it now, but we should learn it properly from a proper audio recording of a Veda Pati, a person who fully knows the Veda properly. So once again, whenever we do Vedic mantras, even though I may chant through them, I don't know these ones. So we need to learn them from somebody who knows it properly. And then we'll get the proper pronunciation, because the proper intonation of the Veda mantras is absolutely correct, absolutely necessary for the correct rituals. Yes, we have a question.
Yes, Guruji, if now you want to do Vastu Homa and you don't know how to chant this, you have to wait for you to learn it before you chant, or you can just use the Gayatri.
Yeah, you can use other mantras if you're doing a non-Vedic. See, here it's very clearly said Vedika. We're going to use Vedic mantras. Vastu Homa Vedika. So if we want to do a Vastu Homa, but we don't know any Vedic mantras, or we don't know the specific Vedic mantras yet, we're learning them, then before we do that, we can use mantras like, we can say Vastu Nataya Swaha, Vastu Nataya Dannamama, Vastu Nataya Swaha, Vastu Nataya Dannamama, Om Vastu Purushaya Swaha, Vastu Purushaya Dannamama, Om Vastu Purushaya Swaha, Vastu Purushaya, like that. Or we can say the Gayatri mantra for Vastu. What was the Gayatri mantra for Vastu? We have it back here. Vastu Purushaya Vidmahe Bhumi Purushaya Dhimahi Tanno Vastu Prachodayate Swaha. Just like that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I did it. So, I did it 108.
Okay, good. Okay, so next, so you can do that. If there are mantras that you don't know because they're Vedic mantras and they need specific intonations and everything like that, don't fake it. Just try to do it properly by chanting the mantras that you do know. And so either Vastu Nataya Swaha, Vastu Purushaya Swaha, or this Vastu Gayatri. Yeah. Okay, so now we have Purusha. It's just supposed to be followed by Purusha Sukta Homa. So because you know Purusha Sukta, you should be able to do Purusha Sukta Homa. Here, the way the Purusha Sukta Homa is given is the beginning of the mantras of a verse and the last mantras of a verse are given. He hasn't given the word Swaha, but it has to be added like that. So each beginning and each ending with dots in between, you should know. If you don't know, then you should learn Purusha Sukta properly. So like that. So it'll be Sahasrasir, Sapurushaha, Sahasraksa, Sahasrabhat, Sabhumim, Vishpato, Vitpa, Atyatishtad Dasangulam Swaha. Right? And he hasn't suggested a Pradivachanam here. He hasn't suggested that we say Vastu Purushaya Dandamama or Vastu Nataya Dandamama. So Purusha Suktas normally we're offering to Sriman Narayana, so we can say Atyatishtad Dasam Gulam Swaha Narayanai Dandamama, like that normally. Okay, it's like that. If you or you can say Krishnaya Dandamama, whatever it is, like that. So, but this is a Vaishnava mantra. So we have the oblations going up 15, up to 18. There are 16 mantras in the Purusha Sukta, as it is in the Rig Veda. In the Rig Veda, 10th mandala, 90th Sukta is the Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta is in all Vedas. So in the Krishna Yajurveda, there are 18 mantras of the Purusha Sukta. But in the Rig Veda, there are 16. Okay, so in the Rig Veda, it only goes up to Yagyena Yagyamayajanta Deva, I believe, but a couple of them missed out here. Anyway, so we're doing the Yajurveda style, the Krishna Yajurveda style Purusha Sukta, which goes up to the 18. So 18 oblations into the fire. So he hasn't mentioned any number of times, so we just do it one time. So each mantra and offer into the fire one time with ghee. So next offer oblations with Navagraha Sukta. Okay, so I don't know Navagraha Suktam, so why don't I not even try to attempt to do it, because that'll just take a lot of time. We know the first one. Asat yena risavattamano niveshena namatammatam chahiranyena savatara tena devo yati pupana vipasyanne swaha agnim dhutam vinimahe hutam bhutaram vishvavedasam asya yagyasya sukta to gas swaha. So there are these different mantras. So continue on. This is the Navagraha Homam for the different planets. Okay. So we're going to go through that, right? So that all needs to be learned. That's all Vedic mantras like that. If you don't have Vedic mantras for the planets, then you can offer, again, there are Gayatri mantras, there are Mula mantras for the planets. There are also slokas, and for each planet, which are classical Sanskrit slokas like Japa Kusuma Sankasham, like that, for the sun, etc. Or we have one sloka with mentioning all the planets. Adityaya Somaya Mangalaya Budaya Guru Shukra Shinedischa Rahave Ketave Namaha Swaha. Right? So this is a type of substitute that you can do. If you don't have enough time, or if you're not, this is specifically supposed to be a Vedic Homa, so that's why he's given the Vedic mantras. And Vedic mantras are considered more powerful than classical Sanskrit mantras in most cases. But at the same time, if you don't know the Vedic mantras, then use classical Sanskrit mantras that you know for the Navagraha Homa. Okay, so continuing on, the next part is called Astadikpala Homa. So again, there are the Vedic mantras for the Astadikpalas. I'm not going to go through those because I don't know them. So we go through, and then if you do not know then there are Gayatri mantras for these devatas, and also Mula mantras for these devatas. Om Indraya Namaha, Om Agnaya Namaha, Om Yamaya Namaha, like that, Om Vayave Namaha, like that. Om Vayave Swaha, Om Agnaya Swaha, Om Indraya Swaha, like that. Right, for the Dikpals. Then if we come up, the next one is the Panchavaruna Homa. In each case, in order not to be confused when you're learning to do a procedure like this, you need to write the procedure out the way that you're going to do it before you do it. So if you don't know, there's no point in having this printed out next to you with all these Vedic mantras if you don't know those Vedic mantras, or if you're not going to use those Vedic mantras. So instead, rewrite it with the simplified classical mantras, classical Sanskrit mantras, instead of the Vedic mantras, so that you're able to follow it when you perform the procedure. Here we have Panchavaruna Homa. So we have some mantras. Some of these mantras we know from Sanya Vandana. Mamme Varana Sri Hamadya Chamadiya Tvamavasura Chake Tattaya Tvamavasura Chake Swaha Varna Varnai Dannamama. Right? We're offering to Varuna. Okay. So Tatvayami Brahmana Vandamana Aste Yajamano Havipihi Ahedamano Varneha Buddhushadamsa Samana Ayu Pramosi Swaha Varnai Dandamama, etc. So we have to learn these Vedic mantras, and then we have to continue on. The next thing to do is to offer the Jayadi Homam. Jayadi Homam is going to be found in the Homa Sangraha. It's also given as an appendix to this book, the Vastu Sangraha. right? Jayadi Homam is the normal Vedic system of offering prayaschita for any mistakes that we performed with the main offerings, or the whole procedure that we're doing. But the main offerings, or the main homa, which is called the pradhana homa, right? Because the homa is divided up into three, right? We have purvangam, means the first part of the homa, up to the ajabhaga, right? Agnimukham up to the ajabhaga, right? From starting the fire up to offering the obligatory oblations to Indra and Prajapati and Agni, like this. So then the middle section of the homa is what we call the pradhana homa, or the main part of the homa, which varies according to the different ritual. In this case, Vastu Puja, right, or Vastu Homa. And then there's the Uttarangam. The Uttarangam means the last part, right? So we have Purvangam, the first part, Uttarangam, the last part, and in the middle we have the Pradhanam, the main part of the Homa. Okay, so this Jayadi Homa is actually part of the Uttarangam, but he has put he's written Uttarangam just after it, but actually Jayadi Homa becomes at the beginning of Uttarangam. It's the Prayaschita Homa that we do after we finish the main offerings. Okay, so we can have a look at that. We'll have a look at that, because we're not going to go through it probably. So it's there in the appendix here. If you look in Vastu Sangraha, he gives it after here, Jayadi Homam. So Jayadi Homam, we just have a quick look here. Starts on page 51. So there's a sankalpa before. In different parts of the Homa, there might be small sankalpas when we do a different part of the Homa. So when it comes to the Jayadi Homam part of the Homa, we say Hari Om Tat Sada Purvoktam Guna Visheshana Vishishtayam Asyam Subhatitoshi Bhagavadagya Bhagavatanka, etc. Right? We fill in the dots here, right, with the rest of the normal sankalpa. Then it doesn't have to be very long sankalpa, because already in the pradhana sankalpa, the main sankalpa, we've mentioned the time, the place, and the people's names who are the yajamanas or sponsors. So we're just going to do a quick sankalpa here. Etad vastu shanti karma samridhyatam jayadi homam karisye, right? Okay. And then we have these jayadi homa mantras. You should learn those. Chitrancha swaha chitraida namama chitrascha swaha chitraida namama akutancha swaha akutancha namama, like that. Okay, so it goes on and on, right? It's quite long. Okay, and he's giving all parts of it here, so you can learn that. And then he gives actually the Uttarangam after that. But we'll go back to the Vastu Homa, the Vaidika Vastu Homa. Vaidika Vastu Homa, right? Part. Right, we did Astavik Pala Homa, Panchavarana Homa, Uttarangam. Okay. So we're on page 38 at the Uttarangam part. So actually the rest of this you should understand from, if you've gone through Vastu or Homa Sangraha, or any text on Homa before, then the Uttarangam will be pretty much the same. Okay, so we have this Vedic mantra here with offering a ghee into the fire on Prajapati, not Twad, Etanya, no, etc. And then Mahabhyarti Homa again, Bhuswaha, Bhuvaswaha, Suvaswaha, Om Bhuswaha, Agne Nidama, Om Bhuvaswaha, Vaidinamama, Om Suvaswaha, Surya Idamama, and then another Vedic mantra here where we're going to Yad Asyaka Mano, Tyariricham, etc. like that. And the Agni Swistikate, Dam Namama, right? Okay. Paridi Pariharanam, we offer the paridis into the fire, having dipped them in ghee, the middle one first, followed by the three others. Okay, so on each side of the homa, as well as the paristaranam, which is made of kusha grass, laying four strands of kusha grass on each side. We also have a stick on each side that stick is now dipped into the ghee and put into the fire without mantra. That is called Paridi Pariharanam. Some Shrava Homam, fill the Shruva, which is the big spoon, right? We have two darvis or spoons that we use in the Homa. One is called Shruk and one is called Shruva. So fill the Shruva with ghee and cover with the Shruk. Okay, the Shruk is the small one, which we're going to offer many oblations with. So fill the big one with ghee, put the other one on top upside down, right? And then offer a continuous stream of ghee with the word Swaha, Vasubhyo, Rudrebhyo, Adiptebhya, Samshrava, Bhargebhya, Idam Namama. Okay, Om Bhurbhava Subha Swaha, Prajapati Namama. Offer again some ghee. Prayaschitta. So the Sankalpa for Prayaschitta coming at the end here. Om Purvoktam Gunavishesha Vishishtaya Masyam Subhadito Mama Upata Samasta Duritakshaya Dwara, which is the Smarta Sankalpa. If you are a Vaishnava, instead of that, you say Om Purvoktam Gunavisheshana Vishishtaya Asyam Subhadito, the first line. Then instead of Mama Upata Samasta Duritakshaya Dwara, which is the Smarta Sankalpa, you say Bhagavad Agyaya Bhagavad Kainkarya Rupena or Bhagavad Kainkarya Rupam. It's up to you. Asmin Vastu Homa Karmani Avigyata Prayaschitta Adini Karishye. So you're going to perform the Prayaschitta Homa for this Vastu Shanti Homa. So then there are some other prayers to be chanted, right, in the Vastu Homa, right, and you're going to offer Anagyaatam, etc. And then so Tataga Swaha Agnaya Namama, etc. Okay, so then again Tataga Swaha Agnaya Namama, and also here Pratusho Yati Swaha Agnaya Namama. These are all Vedic mantras, so we have to learn those, right? And then we have at the bottom here, again, Mahavyarti Homa, Om Bhu Swaha, Agni Nama, Om Vaswaha, Vayavai Nama, Om Swaswaha, Om Surya Nama. And another Sankalpa, another Sankalpa for Prayaschitta, Asmin, Vastu Homa Karmani, Madhye, Sambhavita Samasta Dosha, meaning all of the different faults that have occurred in the ritual, Prayaschitartam, Sarva Prayaschitartam Hoshami. I'm going to do this for all the different mistakes that I've made or faults. Om Bhurvavasva Swaha Prajapati Namama Om Vishnave Swaha Vishnave Paramatmane Idan Namama Om Rudraya Pasupataye Swaha Rudraya Pasupataye Idan Namama. Okay, so then we have the Purnahuti. The Purnahuti is the last main oblation into the fire. It's not exactly the very last one, but it makes everything complete, the Purnahuti. Purna means complete. Ahuti means offering, the complete offering. Right. So there's a Sankalpa for that part of the Uttarangam. Om Purvokta Guna Visheshana Vishishtaya Masyam Subhatito Tito Mama Upata Samasta Duritakshaya Dwara. Right. So instead of Mama Upata Samasta Duritakshaya Dwara, if you're a Vaishnava, you say Bhagavad Agyaya Bhagavad Kainkarya Rupena or Bhagavad Kainkarya Rupam. Right. Or there are other Vaishnavas who say Bhagavad Prityatam. Right? Asmin Vastu Homa Karmana Sampurna Phala Pratyartam Mrida Namagnao Purnahutim Hoshami. So, right, so we say that we're going to perform this Purnahuti, right? And then we say Tadanantaram. Tadanantaram means, and then afterwards, we're going to do Vasodara. Vasodara means that is an offering of stream of ghee into the fire after we perform the Purnahuti, right? It's a stream of ghee. The Purnahuti, we put all sorts of things in the fire, ghee and fruits and flowers and silk saris and all sorts of precious items we put in the Purnahuti. After the Purnahuti, we offer a stream of ghee in the Vasodara, right? We offer a stream of ghee just by itself, like that. Okay, that comes afterwards. All right, so we have the Punahuti mantra here. Om Purna Hutim Mutam Jahoti Sarvam Vai Purno Nahutihi Sarvam Evapnoti Ato Iyam Vai Purna Hutihi Asyam Eva Pratitistati Swaha Agnaye Baushate. And we offer that into the fire. Some people say Agnaye Swaha. It's fine. But Baushat is normally the appellation that we use for the Punahuti. Now, here we go. Now we have the Vasodhara. Again, we're going to be offering a stream of ghee from either from a special pipe which is meant for offering the ghee, or from the shruva, or it can be sometimes we see people in India, what they do is they get a banana tree and they hollow out the stem of the banana tree, and they pour ghee down that into the fire. So Om Saptate Agne Samiras Saptajihva Saptara Vishaya Saptadhama Priya Nama Priyani Saptahotra Saptada Tva Yajanti Saptayonir Aprishasva Vitena Swaha Agnaye Saptavatedam Namama. Okay, so this can also, some people, especially Shaivites and Smartas, but in some cases, we have even seen Vaishnavas do this, that they use a Shanti pot, which comes from the Chamakam in the Taittiriya Krishna Yajurveda. Also for the Vasodhara. That's also possible if you know that. Okay, so then afterwards we have, and if you want to learn that mantra, you just get in touch with me. I can give you the audios for all these Vedic mantras. So then after that we do pranayamaha. So somebody does pranayamaha. That means Vedic pranayamaha by using Dirgha Gayatri. And then we perform parisechanam of the fire. Parisechanam of the fire means what? We did this also before during the Agni Mukam. We sprinkle water around the fire. But here we're using different mantras for slightly different mantras. So there we do Aditenya Manyaswa, Sarasatenya Manyaswa, etc. Like this, we do that. Here it is a little bit different. It is Aditen Vamangastaha Anumaten Vamgastaha Saraswaten Vamangastaha Deva Savita Prasadihi. Right? Deva Savita Prasadihi instead. So we have to know how to do this. We should read how to do this in the Homa Sangraha. We'll learn about it in Homa Sangraha, because we have to offer it in a certain direction on certain sides of we have to sprinkle water around the pit, but in certain directions and with each mantra. Okay, so we won't go into that here. Valediction of Varuna from the Pranita Patra. So during Agni Mukam, we invoke Varuna into a pot, into a plate, or into a pot, a bowl, right, called the Pranita Patra. So we have to do Visarjanam of him. So Varunaya Namaha, Sakala Radhane Svarchitam, Itastanam, etc. Purnaya Agamanaya Cha, right? And we do that. Valediction of Varuna. Okay, so then pouring out of water, right? So then we pour out water. Either it can be done with the shruva, or it can be done simply with the hands or with a flower or whatever it is. We sprinkle water also around in the different directions. So prati around the kunda, around the standila, the homa kunda, the fire altar. Okay, so prati cham dishe deva ripijo madhyantam Dachinasya dishi masha pitaro madhyantam praticham dishi griha pasavo madhyantam udiicham dishyapa osareo madhyantam. And then so around in the four directions. So we have east, south, west, and north. And then the last one is upwards, up. We throw some water up. Udvayam dishi Yagya Samvatsaro Yagya Patir Marjantam Om, and then we say the Agni Gayatri. Om Vaishvaranaya Vidmahi Lalilaya Dhimahi Tanno Agni Prachodayate. Now we're going to chant some more prayers to Agni. Agni Naya Supata Vaye Asman Vishvani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Vidyo Jasma Juhurana Meno Bhuyishtam Te Nama Uktim Videma, which comes from Upanishad. It's the last 18th, I believe. Verse of Upanishad from the Shukla Yajurveda Madhyantini Shakra Vajrasanaya Samhita. So then Om Agnaye Namaha Agnim Atman Yudvasayami. So, O Agni, I offer my obeisances, my respects to you. Please return to my heart. So we meditate on Agni going back into the heart. Right. Okay, so then Pratana, then we have some classical Sanskrit mantras which we chant at the end of every Homa. Namaste Garhapatyaya, Namaste Dakshinatne, Nama Ahavaniyaya, Nama Mahavedyaya, Vedyaya Namo Namaha. This mentions obeisances to the different Vedic fires. Garhapatya, Dakshinagni, and Ahavaniya are the Vedic fires. Right? The Dakshinagni, of course, is in the south. The Garhapatya is in the west, and the Ahavaniya is in the east. Right? So in the east, we have Ahavaniya, turn, Dakshinagni, then Garhapatya. These are the Vedic fires. Right? And same thing when we have a Yagashala. Even if we have 4 fires, there are those 3 fires there. The Ahavaniya, the Dakshinagni, and the Garhapatya. The Mahavedya is the big Vedi in the middle. Wherever there's a Vedi or a raised platform or an altar for keeping kumbhas or different deities on them or something like that, that's another thing. There's a Vedi. Right, so this is just a description of the Vedic Yagashala. Okay, so Kanda Dvayo Papadhyaya Karma Brahma Swarupinam Svargapa Varga Rupaya Yagyeshaya Namo Namaha. Yaggesha Trita Govinda Madhava Anta Keshava Krishna Vishnu Shikesha Vasudeva Namosute Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Hutasana Yadhutam Tumaya Deva Paripurnam Tarastute Prayastityan Yasheshani Tapak Karmatmakani Vai Gyani Tesham Asheshanam Krishna Anusmaranam Param. Right? Which is by remembering the name of Krishna, all the faults go away. Yeah, we can say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. At the end here, we'll say that. Okay, so it can be said 3 times or 10 times, the name of Krishna. Yes, Smritya cha namukta tapa yagya priyadishu nyunam sampurnatam yati sadyo vande tamachutam. Om Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And you can say even 10 times. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Yes. So then, after this, Dik Bali Danam. We have to give Bali, or what is Bali? Remember again, we had cooked rice with some water, and we're going to offer lumps of cooked rice in the different directions. The Diks are the different directions. So there are these different 8 directions. So we can go and see page 10 of this Vastu Sangraha, and we can do the Dik Bali now. The deities are valedicted after, and the kumbha disassembled. So if you have kumbhas in the different directions in which you invoke the deities of the directions, then you do the valediction after you offer the Balidanam and water. You're going to valedict them. And you have to shake the pot. We'll just remove the coconut a little bit. And after you say the valediction prayers, the water is then sprinkled from all these kumbhas on every room in the house. Okay, so that is the end of that Vastu Homam.